Welcome to the Astro Weekly Forecast for the week of April 1st through to the 7th. We are into the second quarter of the year already, and we are knee deep, no, I'm going to say neck deep in eclipse season, right? Things are shifting. The energy is moving. We are having these evolutionary shifts, and we start off the month with a Mercury retrograde. So with the moon in Capricorn, we are wanting to organize, we are wanting to schedule things and make things kind of in a way that we can get things done. And Mercury retrograde in Aries is saying, no, 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 no. Are you actually doing what you want to do? Are you feeling passionate and purposeful in the things that you are putting your mind to? So Mercury retrograde just means that Mercury is going slower than the Earth. So it speeds up and slows down in its trajectory around the sun, its orbit around the sun. And when a planet goes slower than the Earth in its trajectory, it almost looks like it's going backwards in our sky because it's going slower. So we are going faster than it, right? As if you were passing a slow car, it almost looks like it's going backwards, but it's not. You're just going faster than it. So mathematically, it is going backwards relative to the Earth. Planets don't go backwards. That's not a thing. But what we know, and what we know with retrograde planets is now that energy is now inverted. It's almost like a slow down mode for us. So when Mercury goes retrograde, it's a time to review, to reassess, to realign your life in the sign that it is in. So it is in a fiery sign, and it's the first sign of the zodiac, Aries. And we also happen to be in Aries season. So this Aries energy is very potent right now. It's trying to get us to realize what is our passion, what is our purpose, what is our mission, and are we really aligning with that? Are we actually working in that energy, or are we doing what other people told us to, right? And what I love about like Mercury retrogrades and really all astrology is we can look at the signs and the word I'm looking for is cycles. We can look for the cycles of the planets and see how they correlate with our life. So we can look at these cycles and kind of go, okay, this is what we can expect here. This is a highly likely chance that this is going to bring up this because this is what happened the last time, right? So we use this in predictive astrology because we're seeing that the chances of this happening again, or this energy presenting in our life in this way, very probable. So the way to look at this Mercury retrograde is Mercury was in retro shade, meaning it went over these degrees already in the zodiac in March, and specifically March 19th to April 1st. So what were you working on? What were you thinking about? What you were hashing through in your mind? What were you writing about, right? Mercury rules anything, the ways that we communicate, our connections with our immediate environment, community, siblings, our relationships are all Mercury-esque, right? And our coordination as well. So whenever Mercury goes retrograde, all of these things are going to be kind of gone over in a new way. You're going to see things in a new way, right? And it's kind of a permission slip to slow down because we're so often going so fast, ahead in our life, trying to get everything done and stay on top of everything. So look at what you were doing from March 19th to April 1st in terms of things that lit your heart up with joy, things that were calling to your passion and purpose, your mission in the world. What did you want to achieve? What were you trying to do? Because now from April 1st to April 25th, you are going to see it in a new way. You're going to have an experience where that purpose and mission is going to come back to you. So you're going to review communication, plans, and initiatives. And this period is going to invite introspection and reassessment of personal goals and intentions. With Mercury retrograde until April 25th, you will be going over the same degrees that traveled from March 19th to April 1st. So pay attention to what you were thinking and doing during this time, as it will be revised, reviewed, and realigned during this retrograde time. So there is an opportunity here to revisit past projects, to go over things with fresh eyes, to go over contracts. Perhaps not a time to sign contracts between April 1st and April 25th because we're going to miss details. I swear to you, this happens to me a lot, given I'm also a Virgo. So if you're Virgo Virgo or Gemini, Mercury rules your sign. So you might feel this even harder. And here's a little bit of an extra. If you're born with Mercury retrograde in your natal chart, this might feel like a coming home to you. This might feel like, oh my God, this is my time, because everybody comes back to the pace in which you were born in. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not like you're slower or there's something mentally challenged with you. You just have a different set of gifts, because now if you're born with Mercury retrograde in your natal chart, you take in things deeper, you take more time to integrate them, but once you do, you know them. You also will need time to get back to people. If you're in a rebuttal, like in a debate or in a heated exchange, you might not have the gift of being able to come back with fast quips and debate back quickly, but you need time to move away, to take some time to be within your own thoughts, formulate how you truly feel about something, and come back with something that is deeply true to you versus just kind of reacting in the moment, right? So it's a different gift. It's not everyone is born with different gifts. Not one is better than the other, okay? So pay attention to that, because whatever you go over now between April 1st and April 25th, you're going to go over again, but now with new eyes, with a new perspective on things, with a new passion, purpose, mission, Aries energy from April 25th to May 13th. We call that the post-retro shade period, right? So we're post-retrograde and we're going over these things again now, but with new eyes. So we can play these cycles and learn about ourselves and learn about things, but also give ourselves a bit of a break, right? Because we're not always meant to be in this forward motion, constantly expanding. That is not a thing. That is not a thing in nature. That is not a thing for us, right? Where do you feel like you've got to constantly be expanding? And if you're an entrepreneur, you probably feel like that, right? And it's just not sustainable, right? We need periods of rest. We need periods of realignment, and then we go again, right? And that's nature. So Wednesday, April 3rd is the next major aspect, and it's Venus conjunct Neptune in Pisces. Venus is what we love and value, our relationships, beauty, aesthetic, money. And Neptune is spirituality, compassion, empathy, one love. It can also be the fog and can also be deception. So this is not a time, especially because Mercury is retrograde, to make any major investment choices, any big financial moves with your money, and making any big purchases during this time. Not a good time. This is a great time for spirituality, for connection, for going on, not going on, because even with Mercury retrograde, if you're traveling, because Mercury rules travel, is really, really important to pack extra patience and an extra travel documents, right? If you're going international, take a photocopy of your passport, leave it with someone you trust, or take an extra copy in your bag, something like hold it with you in case your passport gets lost. You also want to have all your travel documents printed, not just on your phone, because phones, Mercury, anything that's communication oriented can go lost, can deplete. All of a sudden your battery's dead. Welcome to Mercury retrograde, right? It's almost the unexpected can happen. So you really want to plan if you're traveling over the month of April, which I am. So I make sure I never travel with checked bags during a Mercury retrograde. I always travel with my bags on me, so only carry on. And I also make sure that I get my oil change and my car checked and all that kind of stuff, because transportation is Mercury. And we also want to make sure that, again, we're packing extra patience with us and buffering time to get to the airport. And if you have connecting flights, you just might have a backup plan in place. Right? Just being very cautionary. Doesn't mean your bags will be lost, but there is a higher chance than normal during a Mercury retrograde. So with this Venus conjunct to Neptune on April 3rd, this is a heightened sensitivity, compassion, and relationships. This alignment fosters a deep emotional connection and spiritual union with loved ones. It's a time for artistic inspiration and expression, I'll say, romantic gestures, and exploring the mystical realms of love. So great opportunity to indulge in self-care, nurture, tenderness, empathy, all of those lovely Neptunian words and Piscean words. But be careful that you're not idealizing relationships and falling for illusions, because this is a time we're not seeing things as they are, we're seeing things as we are. And I guess you could say that's always the case, but more so now, right? We can really be falling for deceptions and illusions. So please don't be giving your money to people on the internet. Please don't be clicking on any links. That's going to be a very mercurial life lesson, that you don't really now is more so a time to be cautionary in terms of who you trust and where you're spending your money. Venus, Neptune, money. Maintain boundaries and discern between fantasy and reality in matters of the heart. So, not a great time to make big relationship decisions in April as well. So, if you're thinking of ending a relationship, filing for divorce, probably not the best time right now. And you can wait for better outcomes. You could do whatever you want. You have free will, right? It's just the energy, and I'm telling you what the energy is presenting, right? Your own chart might be a little bit different as well. Friday, February 5th, we have Venus moving into Aries. So Venus in Pisces is very light and loving and flowy and intuitive and sensitive. Venus is in Aries is bold. It wants bold acts of love. You got to tell me you love me or get out, right? We don't have time for fools. Venus in Aries is fiery. It is bold. It is courageous. It is pioneering. It wants to do new things. It wants to have new experiences, and it's ready to go. This is a lovely energy if we didn't have Mercury retrograde right now, right? It's not a time to be moving forward. And we are in eclipse season right now. So the energy is so crazy. It is a time now to really focus on what is coming up from the heart, what is coming up from your spirit, what is the bold actions that you're wanting to take. Park them. Park them on a list of things that you're wanting to achieve. And what do you want to start now? And I would wait till after the Mercury retrograde period in May to start those things. So, if you're launching or you're a business person, you can launch whenever you want. You can try doing it now. You're going to learn some very valuable lessons. There's never a bad time to learn a lesson, but we just want a little bit more ease in your life. I would just wait, but do what you want. So Venus in Aries infuses relationships with passion, spontaneity, and a desire for independence. This placement encourages taking initiative in love and pursuing personal desires with confidence. It's a time to be assertive, assertive self-expression and adventurous romance. Venus will stay in Aries until April 29th. So enjoy this passionate surge of confidence and use it wisely. But interesting that it's in Aries during the Mercury retrograde period. So it's going to really amplify that. And there's going to be a time where Venus and Mercury retrograde is going to come together in the coming weeks. That is going to really ask you, what are you really doing in life? Are you pursuing your passion and purpose? Are you pursuing your mission, or are you abdicating to whatever everybody else wants around you? And sometimes you have to, because life requires you to make money. But then, are you doing the thing on the side? Are you following your mission in charity? Are you writing out your memoirs? Are you cultivating that little spark inside you, or are you letting that die out? Because what will happen is your spirit will tell you that you're going in the wrong direction, or you're becoming more and more unhappy, right? So just paying attention to that spark and cultivating it in a way that feels good to you. All right, the next major aspect and the last one of the week is Saturday, April 6th. We have Venus sextile to Pluto. This is a wonderful aspect for excavating what really lights your heart on fire. So Venus forms this sextile is a very harmonious relationship to transformative Pluto, intensifying emotional connections, deepening intimacy in relationships. This alignment encourages exploring hidden desires and fostering profound transformation in love and finances. And since we're in this this eclipse season, right? We just came off that Libra full moon eclipse, and we're about to go into another super new moon in Aries on Monday. So we're in between these eclipses, and they are all about me and we, right? Who am I when I'm not in relationships, and who am I when I'm in a relationship? So we want to navigate this, right? This is a balancing act of like not losing yourself when you're in relationships, but then also not being so independent that relationships are faltering or not flourishing with you. So how do you find that balance, right? Not being codependent, but not being hyper independent, and trying to see that boundaries are really important. Communication, super important. Communication is in retrograde right now. So we're learning about how to speak about our feelings without being hurt or hurting other people, right? That's also Aries energy. So this Venus and Pluto are going to help you excavate what really makes your heart sing. And you're going to be able to dive into the depths of emotions and relationships, allowing for vulnerability and authenticity. But Pluto is like death, rebirth, and transformation, right? So, but he's in a harmonious experience with Venus. So there's going to be like, we're excavating, we're healing, we're bringing up things that are like, oh, this is what I do, and that's okay. It's okay. It's bring yourself so much love and compassion. That's that Neptune coming in to help you and support you a little bit there, to see it for what it is, to heal it, and to realize I don't need to commit to this anymore. This chapter is now complete. Thank you so much for this, and release it to move into the next phase of your life, right? The next chapter of your life. And then something I just noticed is April 7th, which is the Sunday. We have the moon going into Aries, so there's more fire. And we've got the moon also conjunct Venus. So this can mean a lot of like relationship stuff coming up. And also on Monday, we have that super new moon in Aries happening there. So that's a super new moon eclipse as well, right? That's happening on the Monday. So we're going to notice an intensification of our experiences, of our feelings, of our emotions as we move into that eclipse. So really grounding, having, deep conversations, but also self-care, right? Big time self-care. We're wanting to bring in more of that Aries energy. We've got lots of Aries energy here, but it's also about taking care of this vessel, taking care of your boundaries, maybe just taking some time by yourself. You don't need to be in a relationship with everybody all the time. You can have that healthy balance between the two. And again, notice what relationships light you up and what relationships are draining you. And relationships are going to evolve as you do. So some relationships that used to light you up no longer will, and that is okay, right? We can send so much love and gratitude for all that it brought into our life. We can acknowledge grief for the ways that maybe we don't want to be around certain people anymore. And we can just start to minimize that, right, as much as we can in our lives. I mean, sometimes those people are very present in our lives, and you need some tools or some support around that. You can call in some help. But really, it's about you understanding what you want, don't want is the beginning of that. Awareness is the key to everything, right? So I hope that helps you this week. Welcome to April. April is coming in like a lion, in terms of that Mercury retrograde, that Venus, she is working her magic right now, excavating all the ways that you have been abandoning yourself, all the ways that you need healing and love, and all the relationships are just no longer working, right? That's a very big theme right now in the zodiac, in the energy. And notice how that's coming up for you. Venus is also our values, right? So what are you valuing, and how are you living your life that's non-aligned with your values? You're going to notice some of that. I have been noticing some of that. And it's interesting to kind of like, how do I move the ship now that's been going in this direction for so long? It's not easy, but we're here. We can do it. A little bit of a change every day is going to get you there. So just one day at a time, y'all, right? Wishing you the best week ahead. Stay tuned for next week as we go into that eclipse in Aries. Have a great one. See you soon.